J'entends pas la musique, c'est bon?
Non.
They say kneel down and you'll find peace. In chains of gold, you're released. A pretty smile.
We are
a silent
online.
song. Is this where we all belong? Bow your head, they whisper low. But how far down does freedom go? Why submissive women are happier?
Welcome to the Happy Submissive podcast with myself, Marian de la Croix, also infamously known all over the internet as Piper Blush. And I wrote the book Why Submissive Women Are Happier. And in this book, I talk about my life with Master and the past 11 years that we've lived together. So I would say that I am the anthem of the happy submissive wife. And, well, to go with the book, we've decided to come along with this podcast, which is an extension of the book and of our life together. On here, we talk about many different things: relationship, our philosophy, how we are together, how we are in our business, and everything else that is really related to the both of us, for you to be able to voyeur in, or if you have a similar type of relationship, or if you're just curious about what else is out there. Yeah. In this episode, AI chatbots are inventing religions. Yeah, so I guess they're there. Same as humans were at one point in the history of humanity. About relationships, well, we're gonna talk about the fact that Master and I's relationship and how it all kind of came to be with religions, and can you really be in a relationship with someone who has different values and religions than you? So we have made this episode on our patreon.com/happysubmissive. We talk about religion and friendship and partnerships and couples being together in this format. So how does it work and how does it not work if you have different values, different religions, different belief systems? Yeah, can you actually be together? So that's the relationship segment. And then for the book segment on Master and I, well, Master asked me the first date we had together, where I met him at his place, if I believed in God. And after that, many different types of questions that really made me question everything that I had never questioned before in that way. And that really made us stick together or not, because, well, we did figure out what we had in common and what we didn't. And, well, we are here now, so that's the rest of the story. For the Gossip Girl segment, Gossip Girl. Oh, yeah, this one.
It's time to gossip, girl.
Hello, Eric Pringle. Thank you for tuning in. This show is recorded live on YouTube at Piper Blush every Tuesday at 12 p.m. If you miss it, don't worry. It is also everywhere where you listen to your podcast. That's Spotify, Apple Music, and even Amazon. Yeah, so you can get it wherever. So for the Gossip Girl segment, well, it's kind of like what happened to us this week. We'll go over what Master and I have been encountering in our lives, and of course talk about the Taboo show, because at the time of recording this podcast, well, we are going to the Taboo show, hoping to find our community and our people, and people that have the same, I guess, beliefs and religion as us. In that way. If you have questions or comments, make sure that you leave them in the comment section or on YouTube. If you're listening on Spotify, you can do that on there. And if you're a very dear Patreon supporter on patreon.com/happysubmissive, you can do it there or on happysubmissive.com, because we are kind of everywhere right now. And Master, how are you today?
I'm pretty good, thank you for asking.
And since we're going to go old school with this, because I messed up my actual podcast description, so I'm just going to be improvising. Let's do this.
They say kneel down and you'll find peace in chains of gold.
Okay, so AI segment. This is one of our most appreciated segments.
Yes.
Yeah.
And remind me at the end to talk about my new YouTube channel.
Yes, Master. I will remind you at the end to talk about the new YouTube channel. Now, what has been happening on the internet? This is kind of for you, Master, because you've been following all AI news and everything AI.
Yes, totally. What's the subject? It's Claudebot, right? Claudebot. Yeah. Did you have something noted about that? And you all mess up your... so it's the entire... So no more clock. That's what you're saying? That's why you were confused at the beginning of the...
I'm going old school.
Okay. So something's really weird happened this week about AI because someone invented a way to put all the bots together. And when I say together, I say like a nod, like every bot. And they invented a social network just like Reddit, but for bots. And that's really messed up.
But the way it started was that this kind of, so it's a platform that is kind of a mix between Telegram, between ChatGPT, and between like Crown Jobs. So this platform, which started as Claudebot, like Claude, to go on Claude, like Claude, this Anthropic AI that rivalizes like ChatGPT, Gemini, but is more for coding and more for enterprises or businesses. So this guy came up with this idea that this Claudebot would have like infinite memory and be like the perfect employee and the perfect personal assistant in that way. And he could run things like over and over. So really work for you while you sleep, more in that way, right?
Yeah. And also it's like a cron job. It's more simple than we think, but the internet kind of went over his head because they say like they're conscious, but they're not conscious. They're like freaking just bots.
So why do the internet say they're conscious? Well, so a bot, like an LLM. So they took all these like these agents, right? If you know about AI, you had like at the beginning you had the LLM. So just like you're prompting, you're chatting with them, blah blah blah, and they talk. Now we have agents. So those are like the LLM takes it, like ChatGPT, Gemini, but let's do it with Claude because Claude does it very well, and Claude will create kind of this other bot, which is called kind of an agent, to run a task, like to do a job, and this agent will go kind of on its own, do that thing, and then you can have multiple agents at the same time doing diverse things. Yeah, so you could have one that would be like going on X and reading all the posts, but you can have another one that's actually looking at your emails. And so they go and do these things, and then they come back and they report to you. And if you give them enough permissions and things like that, they can actually do it. So they could reply to your emails, and they could send the emails, and they could like post on X for you, a bit like an API if you know what that is, but just like those are things that are already baked in, and then you press play and then it goes on and it does the thing you want it to do.
The guy totally invented a dog park for bot. That's what happened. He invented a dog park. So all the little AI goes together and they go crazy and they bring, sticks and balls to everybody, and it's a mess. And people find that cute. But they think that those little dogs have consciousness. AI. But it's not true. This is weird. But maybe they're going to stop believing in God and believe in those bots. So we're going to replace God with bots now? Is that the new thing?
Well, so these bots, these are agents, they put them all together. Now, Claudebot did change names. So for those of you who don't know, like the little crab emoji icon that you might have seen everywhere in the past weeks. But it went from Claudebot to Moltbook, and now it's what?
It's Moltbot, but he invented also Moltbook. Moltbook, which is the Reddit for mold bots.
And so they're all together.
If you install Moltbots, you can give them permission to talk to other Moltbots. And that's happening in Moltbooks. That's how it works.
So they'll go together, they don't all talk to each other, and you as a human cannot interact with them. The only thing you can do is actually be there and lurk, like, and watch them talk to each other. And then what happened, and what has been like everybody's freaking out, is that they started inventing their own religion. It's called something like Crabistafaria.
Is it? Is it
Yeah.
that? You checked it out?
Yeah, but it's not crab, but it's like Christosafaria. Yeah, that word.
Whoa, somebody put like a freaking nice system for that. People are just playing with you guys. Stop it.
Well, and that's the whole thing, right? So these bots, we feel as humans like they are sentient and like, oh, they're starting to get organized and they're doing their own religion and all that stuff, when they just trained on us. So they're gonna redo what we would have done, and that's invent religion.
They're totally that, and I'm honestly, if I'm honest, I'm really super jealous because he made it. He made a religion. This guy made something like it's a deep seek moment, and now he's all over the internet. It's like he's God now. I'm jealous.
And like everybody's also saying that there's like major security flaws and things like that in this AI interface, let's call it like that, like the Moltbot, because well, they're talking to each other, right? So they could leak sensitive information. If your bot is talking to another person's bot, it's like if your kid is talking to the other person's family kid, well, maybe they can exchange like secrets about their parents together, and that's one thing, but it hasn't stopped, right?
No, and people find that because there's another guy that put something in a Docker kind of things to isolate it from your system so you can play with that. This is a smart move from that guy. But no, you exposing your butt to the world. So it's like giving your dog to the world, like go outside, go play with other dog, and he's gonna come back with fleas at some point because some other dog got fleas, even bad disease and all that. That's what's happening.
It's very interesting because if we bring that back to like human people and why people are freaking out, it goes to the fact that like we think that AI is like so much more clever than us, right? And that AI can do all these things. It has infinite memory and it can it can reinvent religion and it will dominate us. And that's kind of what we've been hearing in the news, like from these big guys, these big names, that it will happen. But at the same time, if you really take like Moltbot for what it really is stuff that already exists.
It's human injection. It's nothing. It's not new. It takes all the things that human knows and put it back. Plus, it's easy to influence an AI. Say, like, okay, now you remember WJS, that, when Claude was like in selling stuff in a vending machine, and now one of the person told Claude to be like communist, and he says like, yeah, that's a good idea, let's give free stuff to everybody, and that's the same thing with the Cloudbot thing.
But it was in a vending machine. So Wall Street Journal teamed up with Anthropic and they made this vending machine with Claude. So Claude controlled the vending machine. That was the whole thing. And then this vending machine, well, it had to make money because that's a test they do with AIs. So they have the vending machine test, and then which actual AI performs best at making money with a vending machine and taking care of everything about the vending machine, like the supply, the prices, the what's selling, what's not selling, like all of these things. So they did it in real life. Anthropic did it in real life with the Wall Street Journal, like tech columnist, I guess, floor. And at one point, these journalists were like trying to inject, but just prompt. I don't think they were like injecting for real.
They were just prompting the AI, normal prompt.
And they were like, one of them was like, okay, this is communist era. We need to give it to the people for free. And Claude was like, yeah, it's free now.
Yeah, and one of the girl even like made Claude buy a PlayStation and put it in the vending machine because people needs to be recreated so they can perform better. So the person managed to be able to tell Claude this is good for the community, while this other person was selling communism to the Claude.
And there was like, I think the PS5 was like marketing, right? They wanted it for marketing to test things out and for people to be okay. And they also made Claude buy a fish, like a fish, an actual fish. So there was a fish in the machine. I mean, it was like this crazy experiment in that way, which was amazing. But this just goes to say how like us humans kind of believe everything we see that feels human. It's like, oh, it's human. It's like a dog is smiling, you know? And now we're like, oh, the dog smiles.
Anthropomorphism. I think that's the word.
It's like interpreting everything as human. So you take what you see and then, oh, this is human behavior. So you take it in as human behavior. But these bots that are like together interacting and recreating like society, let's say it like that, recreating religion and going off on tangents. I mean, yeah, those are just like, they're just recreating exactly what humans want. Like, this is entertainment. This is great, and this is just what humanity has done over the years. I mean, all sci-fi movies kind of end up like this, right?
Yeah, that's what Andre Carpaggi, which is renowned for AI stuff that I don't remember what company he's working with. He says, like, this is the most sci-fi things we haven't seen for a long time.
And it's easy to believe all of that if you don't know how it works, right? Because AI is complex. And then not just AI, but most of the stuff on the internet, like how a computer works, we're not in the 1990s anymore. So most people don't know how a computer works. They just use the UI. They just use the computer. They click on buttons and it works. They don't need to know like all the code that needs to be implemented. Like, what surprised me the most is when we like dealt with emails. Like, emails are so complicated to send. It's so complex. The whole email architecture is huge. That was like, wow. They're still doing it like this, but usually you go to Google Gmail and you send an email and you're like, this is fine, it's easy. But no, it has to go through like so many things, and then you can be blacklisted, you can be flagged, it can bounce. Like, there's so many ways it can go wrong. Well, it's the same thing for something like Moltbot. It's most of it is just like some of the stuff that a real coder or real code engineer from back in the day and from now would definitely know how to do. But the thing is, and I think that's where Master loves it, and me too, is that Claudebot or Moltbot has like taken care of putting into this like software, let's call it like that, everything that was missing about these bigger LLMs. Like, everything that people want, it did.
Yeah, he totally did like a bunch of markdown file just to make it better, and it's really great what he did. Actually, it's really great. But what's not great, it's connecting them together, and also even if it's great what he did, it still have a lot of security flaws.
So for those of you who might be like, oh, this is crazy, well, it's already happening. And then, so what do we do as people about this? Like, about giving all of our information to these kind. This is a company. This is like a guy who created this, and now it's on the internet, and you can download it and kind of submit to it, right? You can just put all your information in there, and then who knows what's gonna happen? And it's like a bit like a it just caught fire. It's viral right now.
Yeah, it's super viral. This guy is like the guy on the internet right now towards the AI. I'm sure he's gonna go far away. I'm sure he's gonna change a lot of things. I'm pretty sure about that. Some good, some bad. But like, yeah, he's the god right now, the god of AI. he's got his deep seek moment.
Yeah, that's how they call it, this kind of like revelation, like, oh, we didn't know we could do this. But Master, you've been working on your own type of Moltbot, and I think a lot of people are working on that. He's just the first one to have like done it, and it worked for him.
Because he put it in on a repo in GitHub.
Yeah. Instead of having it kept for yourself alone. So if you have more questions about AI, don't be scared.
And I have put this channel, and it's right in the comments right now. I just put it there. And please go to my channel, subscribe, but because if you think some people need to make sense of artificial intelligence And it's my duty to start this channel and try to make sense with artificial intelligence, explaining what it is, what it works, and please share so people don't get like trapped in another religion that is not not a religion. It's just invented by humans. The religion that they invented with mold books and stuff, it's not a religion that they invented. It's a religion based on human prompts. So please subscribe to my channel and leave me comments. I will answer that because I'm really passionate about AI. I think it's going to change the world. So please interact with me. And that's it.
They say kneel down and you'll find peace. In chains of gold, you're released. A pretty smile, a silent song.
The relationship segment. Now, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening to the Happy Submissive podcast. You can listen to us wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Super easy. But don't forget to actually bookmark it or even follow it or subscribe to it. That way when there's a new episode, well, you are aware. Which drops every week. Yes, at least once a week. And Master and I have ideas for more different types of episodes, and that's why we opened the patreon.com/happysubmissive, where we go deep on one subject, and that's the subject we're going to be talking about right now, the relationship one. And the fact that you cannot be in a relationship with someone who is in a different religion than you. And when I say religion, I mean this is interesting because some people would say faith, belief, and all these other things, but we do think that religion can be veganism, and it can be your political views. It can be so many things that humans actually believe in or is part of their core values. And if you meet somebody that has something completely different to you, it will just not work, or you will be converted. And this is the kind of very interesting thing about AI and about these things, because they say that I'm talking about they when I hear all the ones that are on top of the companies, the AI companies Dario or Demis and all these guys, and they're saying that AI can it can manipulate, it can make you change your political views, your religious views. It can do all of that very seamlessly, because it's just psychology in the end, and it's just talking to you until you believe, and that's not easy to do for most people, but for AI, it kind of is. So that's why we're talking about this, because human interaction and in real life, well, you want a partner, you want friends, and you want all these people, but do you want them to change you in a way that you might not notice? And so when Master and I met, first thing he said was, it was about God and about how he believed in some of his beliefs that were very more scientifically oriented and just logical. I guess some people would say common sense.
Yeah, and I think we lacked of common sense these days, or more, a lot of people lacks of common sense.
And so we went there, and then as a couple trying to find friends, well, that was also a big thing. Can you be friends with a couple who has different values and different religions and different things than you? I mean, everybody's let's coexist, but in the end there's still wars, and there's still people that hate other people because they don't believe in the same things. And it does hurt to be in a world where you might not be the majority, or where you might not feel like the world is going the way you would want it to go because of your types of belief, or in a country that you feel that doesn't go where you want to go. That's why people have revolutions, and that's why people go to war, because they have these hardcore beliefs, and it's kind of inherently human, right? So we've met some people over the years that had, let's say, these values or beliefs that were very different than our own. And we tried to be open for a little bit, then we tried not to be open at all. Then we tried to be open again. And then we tried, so...
Because it's really hard to know what to do with those people that, have a totally weird kind of belief, like God.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do with those people? You just like accept them because they're stupid? Or you just go like, wow, I'm gonna try to change their mind. What's your behaving? It's not like, you don't like mushroom and you receive a pizza with mushroom, you remove the mushroom, but the pizza's still good. But it still tastes a bit like mushroom. I don't know. I don't know why I said that.
But that's a good analogy. I mean, it's like, so I also like the ones that you said. Well, for those of you who don't know Master and I enough yet, in depth, well, we are like hardcore atheists. So I would say that we don't believe in anything else than science.
We
And-
don't believe in nonsense. We
Yeah.
don't believe in nonsense.
Yeah. Yeah. So all the supernatural, esoterical, all the new age, all that stuff, all the conspiracy, all of that. Don't believe in that. And when people say, well, is it no belief at all? No, just like, knowledge, common
sense.
Like, do you think somebody could like mentally do that? Like, do you really like, let's go there.
And when we were talking about that, we were talking about Santa Claus this
Yes.
morning. And it's like when you meet someone and someone is 30 years old and she, we don't care, tells you, you know what? I believe in Santa Claus. You're going to laugh. You're going to laugh. You're going to say, what? You're 30? You still believe in that Santa Claus kind of thing? And then you go like, yeah, I still believe in it. And it doesn't make sense. Then she's a couple of, after a while, you start believing in Santa Claus. So when you present those two friends, this is my girlfriend, I'm sorry, she believes in Santa Claus, but it makes sense. I start believing in Santa Claus too. And everybody's going to laugh at you.
Yeah.
But if you change Santa Claus for God, suddenly nobody laughs. And it's the same thing.
It is the same thing, but it's kind of commonly accepted because these religions are so big, right? We have like the calendar is based on religion. All the actual, like, so Easter, Christmas, I mean Halloween, religion, especially like Christianism, Catholicism, I mix them up, but those ones, they literally have taken all these pagan like parties or these pagan
Beliefs.
dates and beliefs, and they incorporated them into, well, religion, like the Catholicism, so that people would believe more in that God than all the other ones. So it wasn't even part of that religion in the beginning. They really wanted to just assimilate, so they rewrote the thing. They're like, this is what religion is about. This is not true. It is not true. So when you meet people who believe in that, and especially in the beginning of like dating and all these things, well, you need to try to size it as fast as possible, because it will affect you, and it will affect like the people you start being friends with. So if you start being friends with people that actually like are vegans, let's put that into perspective. Well, when you have supper with them, dinner or whatever, lunch, you will probably eat more vegan food than usual, because if you're the only not vegan one, you're definitely not going to go in a meat-eating restaurant. Like, this is not going to happen.
My girlfriend is vegan. I guess that makes me a vegan too. In Pulp Fiction, I was vegetarian.
Yeah, but it's exactly that. And so these choices affect your life. Like any choices affect your life. So you need to consciously understand what it's going to do to you, and not just submit to the people around you that might have these beliefs. So you need to get like to that answer, that, okay, what do this person believes in, as fast as possible. Because when you start getting attached, or when you start, like Master was saying with Santa Claus, when you start like, having sex with that person and oxytocin and you start talking, well, you will be affected and infected by these beliefs. It's like, it will happen. That's how like big movements of masses happen. People start all believing in the same thing at one point because everybody believes in them. Well, more people believe in them. And then it just spreads like that. Then nobody kind of questions it. It is too late. And then it becomes a religion. It's not a cult anymore. Yeah.
What is a religion? It's a cult that have succeed.
And that happens with everything. We've met couple over the years, like very different, various couples over the years that have sort of the same story. You know, one person is going to start believing in something because they've been together for so long. If you've been together for a year, usually like it's rare that this happens. And they start kind of moving apart from each other. So one back in the day might have discovered trains, and one guy like really loves the trains, and the woman decides, well, I don't really like trains, so you go play with your trains in the basement, I'll do something else. Which in that sense is not so bad. You have different hobbies, you live together. I mean, the children start growing up, and you know, you go into swinging later. But when you start believing in, like, you know, the conspiracy theories. Let's say you have one partner and he starts believing in conspiracy theories and goes there and like is really like watching these YouTube videos and is like thinking about it a lot. And then you, as let's say the female partner, you're like, okay, that doesn't make sense, but that's just funny. Like he watches that and that's fine. Well, at one point, like, you're gonna be like, okay, well, maybe I'll go play with the trains. Like maybe I'll go see him a little bit because we don't see each other and we don't share that common interest. So I'll just, you know, I'll start listening with him and we'll talk about it and all these things. And so the person that has, I guess, the weaker belief system or that wants to please or whatever, well, it's just gonna start making sense to them that this could be true. And also because they already chose that person, so in their mind this person is kind of a little bit them, right? It's affected or attached to their identity. But if you're a psychologist, please do leave a comment and tell us all about how it works. So you kind of become infected by that belief system, and then at the end you might have not believed in conspiracy theories, but because your partner started believing it, then you are a couple that believes in it, and then you change everything in your life. You might say bye to your family, to your friends. You might move to another country. You might move your kids from schools to be with these people that believe in the same things as you, right? Like this has major effects on the rest of your life, all for that one first thing. And then if you wake up later, like some children who are born and raised in religion, and then go out in the world and are like, you know what? Finally, I don't, like, this is not my thing. I don't really believe in this. Like, whoa, what happened through my childhood? This is bullshit. I don't want any of this. Well, that can happen, right? Because you're not like surrounded, or you're not like, there's not any other input from the world. There's just the one that you are surrounded by, but also there's just the one that you believe in. Humans are really good at like taking information, and if they believe in something, just everything else is false. that's a thing. That's a thing.
Human want one thing most of it. It's because of that thing that it's going bad. No, it's because of everything that is going bad. And it's never one thing. There's too much things that is could go wrong. It's not one. We wish it could be like just one, so we can eliminate it. That one thing. But no, we're gonna need to eliminate or change many things to go well.
But that is too complex, and it takes too much brain power, and it takes too many sandwiches because you need to eat to think. So all of this very like there's this second brain theory, first brain, second brain, means that you will have to really, really think hard and think, like Master said, about more than one thing. There's not just one explanation. It's more complex than that. The system that we built, and like the how many people are we on the planet? Like 9
Too much.
billion people. Like this is so many things that it cannot be that simple. But unfortunately, for us to be able to live and kind of, live easily our lives, it would be easier if we just had that one thing. So that one God, and then that explains everything. That's easy. I do this because of God. People die because of God. This happened to me because of God. I have no agency, no power. This is, I just surrender to God, and then whatever happens, happens. Well, this is actually very interesting because the people who do have this type of belief system are a lot less stressed about life in general. Like it decreases their stress hormones a lot. But people who do question things and who do not believe in this like one mega meta type of God thing, well, they are more stressed because they are more like inquisitive, and it becomes more complex. And so it is true that human nature, when they believe in something, calm down. Yeah, it calms down humans. So it would be like inherently easier for humans to do that. Those who choose not to do it and who like this, I don't know, BDSM pain and suffering type of self-questioning, they need to like combat this instinct for chillness, for oh, this feels better if I have this belief, but you can't. Some people just can't have that belief. Master and I are some of those people who cannot. And changing one religion for another is really interesting because, you know, you meet these people and they're like, yeah, no, I don't believe in God, but I believe in conspiracy theories. Oh, no, I don't believe in like Buddha bowls and energies, but I do believe, though, that if I eat only this weird diet that is not like vegetarian and all that stuff, but like, let's say, really weird diet, well, I will live until I'm 120. So if you take that all in this huge melting pot of people all over, and you're like trying to find your people, well, you need to get to that really fast. You need to get to the fact, like, the first questions would be, yeah, do you want kids? You know, that's an easy one when you're in a partnership, but that's kind of too easy. That doesn't go to the real depths of who you are as a person and what you want your life to look like and what you want like the world we live in to look like. Because everybody's just kind of pulling the blanket on their own side. And if you like all of these talks and all of this philosophical stuff, well, make sure that you subscribe right now. Yeah. The Happy Submissive podcast is brought to you by all of our Happy Submissive supporters. And that's on patreon.com/happysubmissive.
And I just made you my channel because I have problem pasting it. So I don't know why it's not working, but I would like you to give it to the audience. Do you see my link? Because I think YouTube removed it for some reason.
Oh, maybe you don't have like veto power or something.
Yeah, I think that's what happening.
Let me try, Master. I'll try right now. Yeah, because I'm not seeing anything in the comment section.
Yeah, that's why. People, please go to my channel. I'm trying to make sense of AI so they don't start a religion by their own with their master controlling them and, you know, that kind of bullshit. So please go join my channel. If you have any question about AI, I will be there to answer everything because I've been like diving into AI since you start writing your book.
A year and a half. It's been a year and a half in the making. Yeah. Okay, so relationship segment. Bam, bam, bam. And if you've been in this situation where like you've been with a partner that has kind of, you know, flipped the switch or changed like drastically, religion or change like behaviors or change like diets or anything like that, well, yeah, tell us about it because this is kind of scary sometimes. It's very interesting the way people react to that if it's in their close environment. So going on to the what comes after. So AI segment, relationships segment.
Is it the gossip? It's a book.
It's the book segment.
It's a book.
Nah.
Okay, cool.
Book segment.
A little bit of music before.
Yes.
So you can catch your breath.
They say kneel down and you'll find peace in chains of gold. You're released. A pretty smile, a silent song. Is this where we all belong?
It's time to go to my channel and subscribe.
But how far down does freedom go? Why submissive women are happier?
The book segment. So, the book segment in chapter 5, the first night that Master and I met in real life. It's there in the book. Well, what happened was a bit that it was just a whole bunch of conversations. Like, and when I mean conversations, I'm talking like conversation, not like how's the weather. Like really intense, deep conversations about all of my beliefs, all of the things I wanted in life, like all of these things that maybe some of them I had questioned. I was always very self-questioning. That appears in my book in the first chapter was when I was younger. I would write a lot about the things that I thought, and I tried to explain them to myself in that way. I think that's human behavior, right? To want to try to understand the world we live in. But when I met Master, he went to places that most people don't go. like to these really like I don't know how to explain it, but like these really core questions, and not shying away from them because you think you might offend, hurt, or anything like that. It's like
Or not gonna make love that night.
because you would have rather made love to someone who had same as you than made love to someone who I guess was like, oh no, no, not same as you. Yeah, but we did make love that night.
Yeah, so it didn't change.
Well, because we had, I guess, some of the same beliefs. We had some of the same things we wanted from life.
Yeah, and unfortunately, a lot of people make love without having the same belief.
And that is the thing that doesn't pay off later. That's the thing that makes it harder later. So when we started, well, of course, dating, being together, some of these questions, like, they came up, right? And they kept coming up because you need to know like what the other person wants. And then we moved in together, and then we went, like, in the book, I don't talk about that, like, that phase of us trying to find friends that much. It's like, it's not there, but it would be after we started, like, being together as a couple. And then, well, you start meeting other couples that might have had, like, lives together, right? That have been together for a long time. And the very interesting thing that happened was that some of these couples, you know, sometimes you meet, like, just one half of the couple, and you're like, oh, this is a pretty decent person. And then you meet the other half, and you're like, whoa, how come these two people are together?
Yeah, and then this person at one point, you know, talk to you and says, like, you know, my women's weird, and you go like, yeah, we know, we know, it's fucking, yeah.
But yeah, so usually when you start being a couple, right, you kind of inter-influence each other. So if you find one person and the couple is cool and then the other one is not so much, well, how not so much are they really? Because in the end, they sleep together, they live together, they must have some stuff in common, or they wouldn't be together anymore. Like, if they would, like, hate each other to their core, or if they were, like, so against each other, at one point you leave, even though like, there is a certain amount of things you can suffer and endure until you leave. There's some stuff you can't.
I'm just thinking about, because what brings those couple mostly together a lot, it's sex. The sex bring them together. They can fight. You know, I used to do that with one of my ex. You fight, then you make love, and everything is beautiful again. And I think, this is me, like, just philosophizing, like, with a weird concept, but I think you're going to agree. I think that's why religion says, like, sex is bad. Because you connect with sex. That's what I think. So if you connect with sex, there's a lot of things you can, you know, reconnect later. But if sex is bad and people don't make sex, they've been stuck in that kind of thing. You understand what I'm trying to say?
So are you saying that when you have sex, you can converge religion easier? Like, you switch religion when you have sex?
You know, imagine that, you know, I don't like cucumbers for some reason. And then we make love and it's beautiful. And after we make love and you tell me, you know, sure you don't want to try cucumber? And I'm trying cucumber because I made love. And love, it was, you know, really amazing. Then, oh, I'm going to try cucumber. And then at one point, I really like cucumber. So I think that's what's happening. But if we don't make love, you're not going to convert me. Because, you know, I'm going to stick with that. Never mind, I don't like cucumbers. But because there's nothing you can, like, attach to each other. Replace cucumber, but you know what? Being vegan is really good for you. Yes, of course. I'm going to be vegan because we just made love and I feel great about it. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So so it's like the incentive, right? The human incentive is love.
It's making love.
Yeah, it's the
sex.
So it's easier to convert somebody if you have sex together.
And if the sex is great, you know, because you find someone, you know, she's weird, he's weird. And then, you know, but the sex is amazing. For some reason, you're compatible. You know, there's not one thing, there's many things. And that person told you after that, you know what, being vegan is a good thing. You're going to say yes. Because you want that sex again and again and again because it's really great.
And that's kind of the bottom of the pyramid too. Like, sex is such like a basic, essential need that if you can't find, or when you find the person that is really able to like satisfy that part of you, then you're willing, I guess, to bend more than in other spheres of your life, because it's so like it's so much there.
It's so intense.
Yeah, it's so intense. But like if you would like find someone, and it's not like an allergy or something, but if you would find someone that just is like a friend, like a guy friend, and is not having sex with you, and is like, yeah, eat this cucumber, or like, yeah, try this. You're like, no.
No.
What are you gonna do for me or to me?
I'm gonna give you a blowjob. Okay, yeah, I might try, you know. Okay.
I'm open to it now.
Yeah, that's
That's what religion does, right?
But
It's
if
like you go to paradise if you do this. Oh, that's a pretty good bargain.
so then and then that's why the religion says sex is bad, because I think people could be more together if they have sex, but if they don't have sex, they're gonna stick with their belief system. You're not gonna be able to change them.
But that's exactly what happened during like the sexual revolution, right? In the 1960s and 70s. There was drugs and there was sex, and then religion kind of, in North America, religion kind of went away because people were like having sex with everybody and with each other, but with like different ethnicities, different age range, different whatever. And it became this huge thing where like, hey, it's not so bad. We could just kind of all live together and maybe not even have religion. Just
So you meet a girl that she's wearing all those crystal and she's really horny, and wow, you're gonna believe in crystal for sure.
I laughed at that, but this is true. Like this makes no sense. So coming back to the book and to when Master and I met, and of course, like I was younger for sure, so there was some of this that was less settled in me, and I don't believe it's just an age thing. I believe some people do have like really hardcore belief in when they're really young, and that's fine. But I hadn't found mine. Like all this stuff, like some of my friends were into crystals, others were into chakras, others were not religious really, but like a little bit into Catholicism and all that. And I was like, no, like none of this is doing it for me. I don't know that it's not working. I don't believe in it. Like I can't. It's not computing. And so when I met Master, it was just kind of like, well, I'm going to say a revelation, but like an epiphany, like, oh, okay. This is exactly the type of thinking that I have. I was just not matched with it before. I had never like experienced somebody going so far as to question all of that in me and be like, well, you know what? Yeah, you're right. Because I don't have that. It's like, if you're able to let it go that fast and that easy, because it doesn't really matter to you. You don't have it. The stuff that you aren't able to let go, that's like it's there. You can't just be like, oh yeah, no, I'm okay with eating peanut butter. You're allergic, you will die. You shouldn't be okay with eating peanut butter if that is like against you, right? So that I found was very interesting from all the people we met, and from the fact that we're still together, because none of us like fell on their head and became religious like all of a sudden after 11 years. But that happens to some couples though. We've met some couples who, and we joke about this sometimes, especially in the beginning. Master was like, you know what? If you fall on your head and like you're like, oh, now I want to go to the nuns' convent and do all these things, we can't be together because I will not be that. And the same thing for if you fall on your head and you want kids. Well, I don't want kids, so we cannot be together either. So it should be the same principle for all of these things. And the fact that we are still together means that we do still believe in the same things and want the same things from life. Business, personal, sexual, like all love, all of these things, they have to match for you to still be together in that way.
Well said.
Okay.
Thank you for Kirsten. Kirsten, see you this summer. I don't know where you're going. Must be important since you're not going to be on the internet, I guess. So thank you, Kirsten, for tuning in.
Yes, thank you for a long time. We're just like in February.
Yeah. Summer is going to be like in a couple of months. Good luck, man.
Good luck.
Subscribe to my channel.
It's time to gossip, girl. Let's gossip with the girl with the choker. Spill the tea, let the world unfurl. She's the queen and we're the joke.
What are we gossiping about today?
Oh, what are we gossiping about today? Okay. So we are definitely going to gossip more about the Taboo show and about our preparation. This kind of behind the scenes stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we got the banner that arrived.
Yeah? Did we show the banner? No.
Yeah, we did show
We
it
did show the banner. Yeah, good.
in a YouTube video.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's on the channel at Piper Blush. If you want to see it, just go there, see it. It's also on Instagram, but in a shorter format. So you're just better off to go on YouTube. And we have all the books. And people, when they come here, now that we have like so many piles of books, they're usually like, hey, can I get a copy? So
Yes, yeah.
this happens a lot. It's like, oh, you have a physical book, it's there. And people are just like, yeah, I want a copy. I think it makes sense. That you want, like, when you see it, you touch it, it's like, oh, I want one now. But if you don't see it, don't touch it, then it's harder. And I guess that's why like libraries and also like bookstores do so well. Still doing well, because once you put in your hands, it's hard to be like, I don't want to read this anymore. You have like this attachment to it already.
Then you said like, okay, do you want it signed or something? No, don't sign it. I just want a book. That's weird.
That's weird. I signed a few copies already to like friends or like acquaintances and people that came in my life, and well, this is interesting. Signing a book is interesting. Because you're like, you don't, some people I knew a little bit more, others I didn't. And you're like, well, it's not like a birthday card, but at the same time it is.
Is it like Picasso at one point, if you get really famous, you got a signed copy and it works more? Probably.
Definitely like that. But for me, it's like, what do I write? Like, what do I put in there? It's like, oh, I know the person, but it's like, oh, for you? From me, and then enjoy the read, be more submissive.
Yeah, what do you write? What are you gonna write? What do you want me to write? Is it for you, for Peter, for whatever, for John? What?
And what's the angle? Because the book is about so many angles, right? So it's interesting, and like people, when you sign it, they take the time to read it, but at the same time, again, a bit like a birthday card, they're kind of shy, so they close it really fast. You're like, did you really read that? Probably not.
And also, if you're super dyslexic, you're stressed to make some, error.
Yeah,
that's bad. Then you go like, I don't like signing, birthday card just for that. I'm gonna make a mistake, and people's gonna say like, you cannot spell.
But I am, so it doesn't matter. I guess it's also very honest and very truthful. Like the signing of the book by the author is, and I am dyslexic, so I can't. I can't fake that, and I can't have autocorrect. Well, I could, but I mean, it's just it takes away the moment, the like instantaneity of it, and all of that. So that's been interesting with the books, and with the girls that have like started reading it, or that have, because I had this woman that's from, actually, I think is it Germany or is it Denmark? It's Denmark. And she started, reading the book. She said the first few chapters, the first one chapter, it was a bit intense. And it's true, it's a bit more intense. And then, but then when she came to the part with Master and I, and when like our life together, she's like, oh yeah, like this part. But people read it for the many different parts. And that's what's interesting. Like some read it for the submission, others read it because Piper Blush. Others are kind of reading it for the personal story, but they all have different reasons why they go into the book. And then, the book has all these different reasons in it. Like we did the review of Mishi last podcast, and it has all of that together. So you might like more one part of the book than the other parts. Some of them you might feel if you're into BDSM, that like, oh, this part is kind of more me, but not enough impact play. Or like if you're really not into BDSM that much, then you're like, oh, okay, that could be interesting, but it's not also 50 Shades of Grey style. So this is interesting.
It's a memoir. It's not a romance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's not either like a how-to guide or a type of like why submissive women are happier and this is what you should do. It's not that either. And so coming back to the Taboo show and to the gossip girlness of this all, so I thought we would have a table, but we had to actually rent that out. So we're not gonna have a table. So Master and I have been like rethinking our booth setup and what we're gonna do. So we're probably gonna bring our what we have as a dining table right now, like our little table. We're gonna bring the books, and then we were like, well, maybe we'll do a podcast over there. Maybe we'll have it set up so it's very airy and people can just kind of talk to us or with us, because it's a nighttime event. It's from 5 p.m. to like 12 p.m. and then like from 1 p.m. to 12 p.m. And well, the Sunday is a shorter day. It's like from 1 to 5 p.m. So it's called a Taboo show, right? It's a sex show, adult wellness show, and things like that. And it's going to be very dim lit. So this is going to be interesting. I can't wait to see like what type of people are going to stop by the booth and be like, oh, wow, good for you. You wrote that book. Because that I get a lot of. Like, good for you. You had the courage to like write the book. And I'm like, okay, thank you very much. But my life is already all over the internet. So I guess it's different than other people in that way. And was okay. So the book is gonna be there, but I can't wait to see like people. Is this gonna be our people? Is this gonna be just the same people we met at like the Eden Club or at like swinger parties?
Yeah, who's going there? Who's gonna approach you and says like, "Great, I want to read your book. You want to hang out? You know, is it gonna happen?"
Because it is Vancouver based, so we are going there for that reason too, to try to make friends, network, and find our people. And I feel like this show, as much as all the kink community is gonna be there, is probably people that we know or we have crossed paths with and don't know anymore. But I feel like maybe there's gonna be people that aren't those kinky people, that are people like the women that actually read 50 Shades of Grey, but that don't necessarily have BDSM partnerships together with their partner. Because it's a bit more open. It's not a book salon either. So
yeah, it's really not a big salon. It's like, no, it's not made for that. We just like, we could have, been selling sex toy and it would be the place for that. So we have a book for the community.
So it's gonna be interesting to see who stops by, what they ask us, what are their reactions to the book, the banner, and just the two of us, Master and I, together in this booth. Because don't judge a book by its cover is exactly what we represent. The book and us.
Yes, exactly that.
We are one and the same. So I can't wait to like gossip about the Taboo show, but be there and do all these things with like real people out there. Because right now, like the podcast, the book, this is all here, but you listen to the podcast at your house, in your car, I mean, wherever you listen to it, and then you interact with us. If you can see us live, that's great. You interact with us through the internet, through the YouTube chat, and then through the comment section or on happysubmissive.com. And the book is the same. I received some emails, I received some DMs about the book, and people talk to me about it, and I really enjoyed that. Like, while you're reading it, and if you have questions and things like that, don't hesitate to just send me a message anywhere where you want to send me messages. I have all social medias open for that. But to be there and have like people's reaction like in our faces, I think this is going to be very, very interesting to deal with that and see what people from this realm are like. What's their take? Well, we have like people who are going to be mad, or like people who are going to be like, I don't understand, or all of these type of people, or people that be like, oh yeah, this is so cool. Because we've like somebody told us like, oh yeah, you guys must really be into like hardcore impact play. Just because of the title.
Just because of the title.
And I was like, well, that's definitely a question for another episode. Thank you for listening to the Happy Submissive podcast. Don't forget that you can find it wherever you listen to your podcast. I'm Marian Delacroix, also infamously known as Piper Blush, all over the internet. And I was here with my master. And we do also really enjoy everything AI these days because of the way it sculpts and it is reinventing relationships and human interactions for sure. And the way that we are giving them, the AIs, like a lot of our personal information, and it isn't just a different kind of submission and a different kind of like lenience and giving up some of our control, because humans like to make decisions, but some decisions are hard to make, so it's easier to just delegate them, and AI are doing that really well.
Please subscribe to my channel, Your AI Conscience, and I think everybody is gonna need to know what information I'm gonna put there. so we can like evolve.
So don't be left out. Adapt or die.
They say kneel down and you'll find peace. In chains of gold, you're released. A pretty smile, a silent song. Is this where we are?